The biofuels business has been badly mauled, I think, by the pandemic lockdowns, but we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel here as a result of the vaccination programs in the West. What are you anticipating then in terms of biofuel operating profit recovery?
Well, I've referred, in the past to a K-shaped recovery. What we have seen already last year is that immediately the renewables business recovered very quickly. We've seen that again in the first quarter this year, very resilient, very good performance in the renewable products. But then on the other hand side, of course, like you alluded to, when we look at the classical oil products, we don't see a recovery yet. There is still a low demand in the market, and there is an overcapacity in oil refinery products.
And yet we've seen some interesting headline movements in prices. Now, refiners don't always make a whole lot more money when we see headline barrel oil prices go up, but the underlying trend has to be supportive for your profits. When do you expect to see the follow through from those higher headline crude prices?
Well, if you talk about the oil products business, of course, a lot will depend on how fast the vaccination is actually taken by the population, and as such, how fast the lockdowns are being removed so that the demand is coming back, to a pre-pandemic level. But even having said that, there is an overcapacity because, of course, new oil refineries have been put into operation during the pandemic. So therefore, I estimate there must be about, 2.5 to 3, maybe 3.5 million barrels a day of refinery overcapacity. And I expect that that will continue to put pressure on prices. And as a result, of that view, of course, what we had done is we have consolidated our oil products business and we shut down, our smallest refinery in Naantali in Finland. And now we fully focus on the Porvoo refinery to make it one of the most sustainable refineries in Europe.
Peter, nice to see you, sir. You talked about new refineries opening. Not many new refineries open across Western Europe as well. The real focus, of course, about growth still will be transportation, still will be Asia as well. How's the market looking there? Because, of course, China has come back with a vengeance. We've seen some very strong data out of there. But has it got legs, this recovery in Asia?
Yeah, and the new refineries that I was alluding to are mainly, in Asia, but also in the Middle East. We've seen a very fast recovery already in Asia Pacific, but when I'm focused a bit on the renewable product side, you saw that recovery immediately. Actually, there was only a very small drop that we had during the second quarter of last year, but an immediate recovery in those products. And that's the main focus, as you know, for our company. The majority of our profits we're making in the renewables area. And actually this morning we just announced that we're doing another almost 200 million euro investment to create the capabilities to produce sustainable aviation fuel, because we do believe that the aviation sector will recover after the pandemic, and it will recover in such a way that everybody will want to fly in a more sustainable way. So therefore, we have these investments ongoing currently in Singapore that creates 1 million tons of sustainable aviation fuel. And now with the decision of this morning, another 500,000 tons then in Europe, in Rotterdam.
Peter, I hear you, and that's great news on the renewable front as well. We all want to see a switch to more sustainable sources of fuel, especially in the aviation area as well. But I just look at the oil price every single day, and then I look at the tragedy that is befalling the magnificent country that is India every day. And I just think the market is looking at all the good news on the supply and demand dynamics and not looking at the potential of one of the world's largest economies. And even if we saw a follow through of that elsewhere, do you think the market is just way too optimistic?
Well, I would say that currently everybody is expecting that there will be a fast recovery once we get out of this pandemic. Yeah, so everybody is already moving into that direction. as if that is already the situation as we have it today. Our view on this is it will take time. I mean, vaccination, of course, need to spread, and as a result, we need to see the effectiveness of the vaccination also in these countries like India, like you alluded to.